Hey everyone, imagine this. You're constantly on the go, juggling work, personal life, maybe trying to learn a new skill, and even your hobbies feel like another item on an endless to-do list. And no matter how much you do, that nagging feeling whispers, you're not doing enough. You're just being lazy. Sound familiar? That's exactly how I felt before I stumbled upon Devin Price's incredible book. Laziness does not exist. It's not just a book, it's like having a really insightful friend sit you down and completely flip your perspective on why you feel so exhausted and guilty all the time. I picked it up because I was personally burning out, and the title just jumped out at me. And let me tell you, it delivered. Devin Price, who is a brilliant clinical professor and researcher, argues that the concept of laziness as a moral failing simply doesn't exist. Instead, what we label as laziness is often a powerful, essential signal from our bodies and minds, screaming for peace, rest, and quiet. She calls this deeply ingrained cultural belief the laziness lie. So, what exactly is this laziness lie that's been messing with our heads? Devin breaks it down into three core tenets. First, your worth is your productivity. This means we're constantly measuring our value by how much we accomplish, how many emails we answer, or how many side hustles we can squeeze in. We tie our entire identity to our jobs or our output. Second, you cannot trust your own feelings and limits. Ever felt completely drained but pushed through, thinking you're just being lazy and need more willpower? That's this tenet at play. It teaches us to fear our basic needs like tiredness or a desire for a break. And third, there is always more you could be doing. This is the one that gives us that endless guilt. Even when we've worked ourselves to the bone, we can win awards, hit major milestones, and the lie still asks, what's next? It sets an impossible standard where the ceiling of productivity doesn't exist. You might be thinking, but where did this idea come from? Devin dives into the history, and it's quite eye-opening. She traces the laziness lie back to the Puritans, who believed hard work was a sign of God's favor, and a lack of drive meant you were damned. Then, during colonial America, this idea was weaponized to control enslaved people and indentured servants, teaching them that suffering and endless toil were virtuous. It got further ingrained during the Industrial Revolution, with propaganda claiming idle time led to crime. Even pop culture reinforced it, with stories like Horatio Alger's rags to riches tales and the prosperity doctrine, all pushing the idea that if you just work hard enough, you'll succeed, and if you don't, it's your own fault. Think about all those action movie heroes who never give up or retire. It's everywhere. Now, the big question: if laziness doesn't exist, why do so many people appear to be lazy? This is where Devin's analysis really shines. She explains that what we perceive as laziness is almost always a person struggling with unseen barriers and challenges. For instance, what about someone struggling with depression? Devin uses the example of James, who, during depressive episodes, would sleep all day and get nothing done, feeling incredibly lazy, but she explains that fighting depression is a full-time job in itself. Depressed brains are tired from battling negative thoughts, and even sleep offers less restorative energy. It's not a moral failing, it's a protective mechanism. Or take procrastinators. You might think they're just lazy, right? But Devin reveals that procrastination often stems from anxiety or confusion, especially when a task really matters to them. They want to do perfect work, get overwhelmed, and then get caught in a cycle of anxiety and distraction. They don't lack motivation, they often care too much. And then there's apathy. What about those who genuinely don't seem to care? Devin points out that apathy often comes from feeling failed, like students who rebel against overly strict schools, or people who've experienced learned helplessness due to systemic disenfranchisement or trauma. When you feel like your efforts don't matter, why bother? It's a rational, self-protective response, not a personal flaw. Devin also shares her own journey with overwork and burnout. She describes pushing herself to the point of severe illness, running a fever for months after her dissertation defense, still forcing herself to work. Max, another person in the book, had to have her gallbladder removed due to stress-induced decay before she finally allowed herself to rest. These extreme examples show that our bodies literally force us to stop when we ignore our limits. Laziness is a warning sign. So, if laziness is a myth, what happens when we embrace rest and do less? Devin shows that it can actually be incredibly healing and productive. For one, laziness fosters creativity. You know how those aha moments often hit you when you're in a shower or on a walk? Devon calls this the incubation period. Your mind is quietly working things out in the background, making connections that can't happen when you're forcing focus. Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton, famously got the idea for the musical while on vacation. After 7 years of non-stop work, his brain finally had space to be creative. Rest also helps with problem solving. Max, after her surgery and forced rest, came back to her chaotic job with a clear mind, able to strategically document issues and advocate for herself, eventually lightening her workload. A refreshed mind can see solutions to old problems that were invisible under constant stress, and it helps us reconnect with what truly matters. By slowing down, we can identify what obligations are actually serving us and which we can let go of. Devon introduces August, who uses a spreadsheet to track not just work goals but also personal well-being, like meditating or spending time with loved ones. This helps them see if their daily choices align with their actual values, rather than just societal shoulds. But how do we actually work less and challenge the lie in our daily lives? Devon provides actionable steps. First, advocate for your autonomy at work. Research shows that employees given freedom to set priorities and work at their own pace are happier and more productive. If your boss micromanages, share this research, and if possible, ask for flexible hours or remote work options. The pandemic showed that these systems work. Second, focus on quality, not hours spent. Instead of judging yourself by how early you clock in or how late you stay, evaluate your work by what you actually accomplish, how your skills grow, and how you support others. Devon herself stopped checking emails first thing in the morning and prioritized her book writing. Even if it meant a backlog of emails, it's about investing energy in what's truly meaningful. Third, break the work-life interference loop. This is a big one in our digital age, with emails and Slack notifications constantly blurring the lines between home and office. It's hard to ever truly disconnect. Devon talks about Louise, a counselor who advises clients to set digital boundaries, like no late-night emails. It's okay to turn off notifications and activity trackers, especially those that make you feel guilty for not hitting arbitrary goals. What about when your achievements aren't your worth? Devon illustrates this through Andrew Tobias, a gay man who overvalued to make up for his identity in a homophobic society, relentlessly pushing himself even when it wasn't necessary. Many of us, especially those from marginalized backgrounds, feel this pressure to constantly prove ourselves through accomplishments. This leads to the crucial point of reframing your life's value. Devon suggests learning to savor experiences. This isn't just rushing through a meal while checking emails. It's truly immersing yourself in the moment, tasting the food, feeling the breeze, appreciating the details. She also encourages us to make time for awe, whether it's visiting a new city or observing nature. These moments remind us of the vastness of the universe and our own smallness, putting worries into perspective, and perhaps most rebelliously, she suggests doing something you're truly bad at, just for the joy of the process, liberating yourself from the need for external validation or perfection. And what about the constant stream of information overload we face? Devon and her friend Noah, who constantly gets into online arguments and consumes endless news, highlight the toll this takes. It's okay to not be an expert in everything, she asserts. She recommends using filtering and muting tools on social media, blocking toxic accounts, and just skimming headlines instead of diving deep into every distressing story. It's about consuming less information, but more meaningfully, by practicing active reading and having real-time conversations instead of endless online debates. Finally, the book really emphasizes that your relationships should not leave you exhausted. Many of us, driven by the laziness lies message that our value comes from what we do for others, struggle to set boundaries with demanding family or friends. Devon shares advice from therapists on saying no to small things, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, and being a broken record if needed. It's about lightening the invisible load, those unspoken responsibilities, often domestic, that fall disproportionately on some individuals, like Riley, who finally challenged her husband to take on more chores. It also means letting others do things imperfectly. For parents, it's about embracing being a good enough parent rather than striving for an impossible perfection. Ultimately, laziness does not exist as a profound call to compassion for ourselves and for others. It teaches us that every human life has value, regardless of productivity. It's a lifelong journey to unlearn the ingrained biases and to stop associating productivity with goodness. This book changed how I view my own rest, my work, and my interactions with the world. It's a powerful reminder that our laziness isn't a flaw but a guidepost, directing us towards a healthier, more authentic, and genuinely fulfilling life. So, next time you feel the wave of laziness washing over you, instead of fighting it, try listening to it. It might just be telling you exactly what you need. What parts of the laziness lie do you find yourself struggling with the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, go pick up the book. It's truly a game changer.